The hosts of the Swine Brothers show are not role models. They're not even human. They're complete monsters. The Swine Brothers show is dumb, crude, thoughtless, ugly, sexist, self-destructive, foolish, and a crime against humanity. Some of the things they do would cause a person to get hurt, expelled, arrested, possibly deported. The fact they blatantly ripped this off from another source should be an indicator of their shameless depravity. This extreme and bad taste will offend anyone with a working brain, so listening discretion is advised. If you're still here, welcome to the sewer of the internet.
Alright, fuckers, you're just gonna get stabbed 18 million times.
The sewer has returned.
Fuck. God.
I don't even remember what number this is, but welcome to the Swine Brothers show.
Yes, I am Jim, the senile mutant god likes to just defecate on all existence.
Really quick, you can email Cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com, and Facebook is Swine Brothers. I'm Elliot, your host. Now, we're going to try something a little bit different today.
Of course it's gonna be different.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have no idea how the fuck this is gonna fucking turn out, because we just got burnt out on fucking, God, the news. The news.
We are tired of news, and, well, I'm not tired of news, I'm tired of political news.
Which is everything anymore. You gotta politicize someone getting... You know what, just think about running someone over the car. I wanted to so bad today.
Tell us about that.
I'm on my way to make just a 5 fucking minute trip. Okay, technically 10 round trip. Down to the fucking store for my fucking house. Grab some energy drinks, come back. Fucker's walking in the middle of the road, you know, talking on his phone and all this shit. So I go to swerve and miss him. As I'm passing him, he sticks out his thumb like he's hitchhiking. Then after I pass him, he's running after me like I stopped to pick him up. It's like, you motherfucker, you're not even playing this game right.
Yeah, you should have just run him over.
Yeah, I should have just run him over. If you're gonna fucking hitchhike like you own the road, fuck you. I'm gonna fucking murder your family. God damn that shit.
People still hitchhike in this day and age?
I mean, I understand times get rough and shit, and you do shit, you know. But seriously, you know, it's like just the fucking randomized bullshit that happens. In life, you know, fine, dandy, and I've picked up hitchhikers before, you know, but, you know, if I'm in a hurry and I just want to run back, I'm not going to take the time, especially if hell, if I was flying on my way to work, I would have been triply pissed and might have actually done it, you know.
Yes. Yeah, that seems a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to just talk and see what things happen. Who knows? And maybe something good will happen. Maybe this will be an abortion.
It'll probably be an abortion.
Probably
it always
be
is
an abortion.
abortion.
But at least it's our abortion.
Yes, that's right.
With new extra blood.
You know what, I've been getting into some shit recently.
So, yes, we were talking about the internet.
Yeah.
That's a segue. People have been sharing their first memories of the internet.
They have? I haven't seen that.
What's on Twitter? You don't go on Twitter.
I don't. Oh, yeah. I don't. It's a fucking plague storm. It's like, God. And then to top it all off, it's like fucking, you're limited to like, what? 240
280.
characters.
280, or if you want to make a thread that nobody reads. It's interesting if you know the right people. I follow a whole bunch of people from, metalheads to fucking Varg Vikernes, which is always interesting. The guy has weird views about everything. His wife's no better.
That's good to know.
Hmm.
So people are sharing their first memories of the internet. You know what my first memories of the internet were?
I probably, but what are your first memories of the internet?
Oh, God. This is 56K dial-up modem speed here being like, oh my God. And like, no server could fucking hack it. You know, even my fucking college server, the one I used to get on the internet at the time, couldn't hack that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I was down up fucking shit on the vax, telling it in places. And oh God, the gore was nice and easily accessible, not like, 27 layers underground that you gotta find today.
Yes.
Like all you had to do was like just, hell, type in, random college and they fucking have someone there posting shit, this is a person getting disemboweled by a train as they peel them off. And we're not talking the fake shit that they'd put on, like Faces of Death, which was kind of realistic, but like, which is what made it awesome, but, at the same time, it was fake. Most of it.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about actual people dying in front of you. And of course, you had porn everywhere. And I remember seeing people trying to advertise you could start up your own porn server, and the cost was like thousands of dollars to get the space.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is one thing, everyone sits here and starts complaining that their friends are addicted to all these fancy MMOs. And, oh my God, I was addicted to MUDs. That's a part of the reason why I dropped out of college. At the time, I was crying, oh, boo-hoo, I was kicked out because I couldn't afford it. Nah, I spending way too much time playing MUDs. These are text-only multiplayer. MUD stands for multi-user dungeon. So, it's a massive multiplayer game, which was text-only. So you sit there, you type your commands, and the one I was addicted to most was called Looney Mud. And, it's shit you would not get away with today. I was running around beating people to death with the severed head of Bugs Bunny. You're still
Yes,
there?
severed head. Yes. Yes, that's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Killing RoboCop, fucking... What they always bitched about was, like... We sat there was one scene where you, like, went to Vietnam and could kill Forrest Gump. Then you take one step into the woods and you were at the MASH 4077, which was the Korean War, a good decade away, plus separated by, a couple thousand miles.
yep.
So it's like, one step and I'm all of a sudden here. What the fuck, dude? Just at least put down. I'm willing to suspend it, saying we walked into a mist traveling through space and time, to get to this other jungle, which was just a little bit further away. I'd be fine with that. But no, they never fixed that. It was just taking one line of text and I would have been fine with it. But no.
My first memories of the internet were a lot more innocuous. I knew what the internet was, obviously. People had gone on it or whatever, but I had a shitty, it's called the Braille note. It wasn't even the Empower, which had wireless. It had a landline and it had an Ethernet port. The dial-up thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a broadband Ethernet port, and it must have been 2005, 2006, so it must have been 11 or 12. And just the fact that I can look things up myself, and I found a lot of things from biographies of musicians to porn, basically. And at the time I thought I was like Mr. fucking special. Look what I'm reading. Not realizing that everyone finds porn.
Yeah. I do want to throw in one more thing. Hypertext, HTTP,
Yes.
the standard web browser internet, that existed whenever I was there, granted for a lot lower speeds. But, that existed. It's just that was a lot harder for me to access because my Vax terminal wouldn't let me access it. I have to go to the actual computer lab to access it. It was just easier to sneak beer into my dorm room and, do the telenet thing.
And what I'm going to Jim, I'm going to post something in the chat. You've seen this thing before, but I want to, because this guy was talking about how the internet used to be the Wild West, but things are still you have to look a little bit harder, but things are still accessible. This is. Let me find that fucking thing. Give me a second. This is an album cover that will get you banned from every social media site. I think you've seen this. The Skype chat. That'll get you banned from every social media site. That album cover, and yet it still exists, and it's actually a new band.
Ah, good. That's beautiful.
Because my whole point is, people complain about, the internet's so censored and demonetization and stuff like that. If you want to find some truly awful, evil stuff, you can find it. Maybe not on Google, maybe not on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, although somehow we've slipped through the radar. Knock on wood. But you can still find truly horrible shit.
Oh, yeah, you can find all
And
kinds of rebellious kind of crap.
And that album cover, I wish I could see it. I know what it is, I just wish I could see it.
It was nice. For the 2 seconds the audience got to see it.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens after a man meets a truck.
That's glorious.
Yes. And that album cover, people refuse to post the album on Facebook. It's a great album, by the way. If we can clear it, I'd post one of the songs. But it's a great album. But people, can't post it on Facebook, and yet it still exists. So that's my whole. I mean, so I was telling Jim this the other day, or it might have been 20 minutes ago. I was doing a search in about 2008 for the band Anal Cunt because I really love the band Anal Cunt. Obviously, it was on Dogpile, an old website that no longer exists. It was a search engine like Google, except for it had an audio feature. With I don't know where they got these MP3s from, just random free MP3 sites, I guess. So I typed in anal cunt, and I found that something said annoying, retarded anal cunt, and I thought, I've never heard of this song called Annoying Retarded, but it sounds like something they'd say, right? I mean, so I didn't see how big it was, and I downloaded it, and it was, that's a big file. Turns out it was a show, and I was kind of pissed off about that because, I wanted to hear some grindcore. I didn't want to hear two people talking. When I started listening to it, and they were talking about, it was just after Steve Irwin died, so they started making Steve Irwin jokes about, him being killed. And this is funny. The show was called the Mudbomb Radio Show, and anyone who knows me knows what a big influence that was on why I do this show. And it was it was horrific. They had a lot of things that even I wouldn't. Wait, did you just say what? And I don't know. People say it couldn't be done today. Oh, this show couldn't be done today. You've talked about that in your when someone said the Gore movie couldn't be done today.
Yeah, I know. No, it is still being done. It's just the funny part is people just got so spoiled because all the shit that we did in the 90s, that was forbidden no shit. Even the more mild fucking, just saying fuck you, that was so no. That today it's nothing, and people see it all the time, and they got accustomed to seeing all this vulgar wrong shit online. because it was just part of the mainstream at that point,
Mhm.
or as close to the mainstream as it could get. So it's easily searchable, accessible. Everyone's seen it. Boo ha ha ha. And then they sit there and say, "Well, it can't be made today because it's not being pushed in the mainstream." Dude, the underground's where the fucking good shit's always been.
I'll give you some. I'll give the guy who said it one thing. I don't think Alice in Wonderland would be nominated for a Grammy today.
No, it wouldn't.
Which it was now. I believe it lost to Metallica. A year and a year and a half of a life of Metallica, which I think I've seen like 15 minutes of, and
even when I was like a huge Metallica fan, I didn't get that because it just looked lame.
It was on YouTube, and I was bored. I have seen Some Kind of Monster though, because back when I was a kid, I was like a Metallica fanboy, and I had to, I get every DVD they made, so I had seen Some Kind of Monster. If you haven't seen it, it is depressing. Just what the band, they were making Saint Anger at the time, and just it became such a rock and roll cliche. The washed up drunk and the band therapist and it was, don't see it, people.
Yeah, that's kind of what Metalocalypse was based off of, except
Except he was insane.
Yeah.
Rather than just slightly unethical. Which is
just,
what.
Oh my God! Shame on you. It was fuck you. I'm gonna fucking create a band called Planet Piss and piss on people.
Well, the whole thing with Phil is he tried to coerce the band when they said they were done with them, which I believe in therapy, unless you're like about to hang yourself, I think they're supposed to just say, okay, if you're done with us, we can't force you to stay or whatever.
Yeah.
And Phil was like, no, you guys still need help, which is a little bit, unethical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think unless you're like blatantly trying to cash it in, they can't, force you to stay.
Anyways, as we're sitting here talking about the glory days of the internet, whenever I was married, well, as my marriage dissolved, I was living on my own, trying to fight for custody of my kids, and I was playing Neopets, of all things, online. I mean, you gotta remember, I'm like early mid-30s at this point. Just because, oh wow, I got an internet connection, might as well use it because I can't afford half the games I want to play. Because I'm trying to fight for custody of my kids and I'm fucking dirt poor.
Yep.
So, I obviously found Napster. And I downloaded shit like this little ditty.
Sniveling ultra boy defilers. Demon gore and science. Up on the road. Up on the road. Up on the road. Up on the road. For my tips on how to waste these pricks, dial me 1-900-666. Pedophile priests who prey on kids. Jesus sakes you for what they say you did. The concept is quite simple. Command the flock to procreate. More babies, more Catholics, more money. Piggy Glee Club singing it. Up on the road. See that I can dig. Up on the road. Puppet on the string. Up on the road. Symbol of oppression. Up on the road. Sweet bottom swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I found that kind of funny too. Just thinking about how the internet's gone. That's obviously punk to anyone that's got half a brain and knows this shit. But I've heard people say that's metal. It's like, no, just because it doesn't sound like you're a fucking punk.
Crossover. Well, I was actually just about to say, it's pretty good crossover, because it's punk and metal at the same,
I don't know. I always thought of it as punk because it stuck with the fucking main chords, and that's what it did. Just because it's heavily distorted does not make it metal.
Yeah,
And
but
you've got people thinking, everything's, whatever.
you could tell they were listening to some pretty good crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to tell the YouTube community what that was, or should we just have them guess?
No, that was the meat men poop on a rope. Fuck.
Yes.
We're gonna say what the hell it was. We're not gonna have them guess because they're not gonna. Because like those who know are already fucking headbanging to it. Now they're like, what the fuck's this?
Well, it is not one of the Meatmen's more known albums. It's not Tooling for Anus or.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Meatmen. Well, and I found free. The problem I have with free internet shit like Napster was, things were mislabeled.
Oh God.
Or they were. Same thing with LimeWire. I downloaded something and I didn't realize it was a recording from a radio broadcast.
Well, see, what I liked was I find shit that was labeled gore and it was nowhere near the quality gore put out. At the era they were claiming it was just someone trying to get success.
Do you know the band Trey
and like
Parker?
every parody was all of a sudden Weird Al. It didn't matter who did it.
The Trey Parker and Matt Stone song, "What Would Brian Boitano Do?" The punk version that they did with DVDA, that was labeled as gore. I just remember, I was like, that sounds like the South Park guys. That's not. So yeah, you never quite knew what you were getting. Yeah, the Meatmen, they're great. I love that scum punk type.
Fine, we'll give viewers a treat. This is about as mainstream punk as I enjoyed.
I went down to where the people are poor. I met a man there with a cheap prosthetic tongue. I said, stranger, why are you crying? He said, don't ask me, son. All I know is there's a bucket of blood at the end of the rainbow. Grandma sleeps in a flattened out box, eats beans and rice and beans makes 18 American dollars a day, sweeping up a room full of working machines. Don't ask me why. Told you all I know is there's a bucket of blood at the end of the out a squeal. They're chaining little children to the steering wheel. Dark, scary shapes are passing overhead. Got some good luck butterfly poop in my bed. Don't ask me why. I told you all I know is there's a bucket of blood. Baby. At the end of the
Alright,
Yeah.
that was Spot 1019, Bucket of Blood, off of their The World Owes Me a Buzz album.
I had a friend who had a connection with Spot 1019, but I can't remember what the connection was anymore. Let's talk, because I have gotten questions about this. Okay, about 3 from like 3 different people who might not even be listening. Because I'm blind. Everyone knows that I'm blind. And people want to know, how was my discovery of the internet and more importantly of music? Now, I always loved, ever since I was a kid, we'd pass the metal station and I just hear a second of it. My parents were, oh, that's horrible. I'm just like, I don't know. I kind of liked it. Just, of course, I didn't know what I was hearing. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was just, the screaming and the heavy guitar just did something to my little trilobite brain. So I knew I liked metal, and I knew later on that I liked punk once I figured out that fucking Green Day wasn't punk. But I had no...
Green Day is not... Public service announcement to our listeners. Green Day is not punk. Thank you.
But I had no way of really... I mean, yeah, we had a record store, but I didn't know what bands... All I saw were bands that were promoted as metal on, like, Fuse, which were bands like Bullet for My Valentine and As They Lay Dying. And occasionally you'll hear, like, Cannibal Corpse, which I love the name, so I had to look, or Morbid Angel, but I had no idea who any of these people were. So I discovered through a roundabout way MP3 blogs, which posted sometimes individual songs, sometimes, sometimes individual songs, sometimes zip files of singles and albums. And because of that, I was able to discover metal, but I did it in a very weird way where I had no idea that Overkill were a legendary band with a huge body of work. All I knew about Overkill was they had an EP out that I loved. I didn't know Terrorizer was some sort of cult following band that had, one album. All I knew was that they were, and the drummer later went into Morbid Angel. All I knew is they had a demo out that I loved. I didn't realize that, Jim, if you look into the chat, I didn't realize the band we're about to play was really, really obscure. I thought they were well known. Turns out they're very, very obscure.
Really? Okay, I'll play that.
Yes, you will.
Dude, I need another line.
Your soul is mine.
Tonight, restore some evil white. We'll do another 8-ball if we want them tight all night. Alright. Okay, a head rush like nothing of its kind. I want to do some more cocaine and blow my fucking mind. Play harder, play faster. Some more snow is what I'm after. Got to give me some more more fucking crazy. I will go another line, another gram. Against the stage my head I slam. Another line, another gram. I don't know who the fuck I am. Harder, faster, heavier, louder. Give me some more of that evil white powder. Around your nostrils, your nose seamless white. Soon you tire of being blind, so let's invite the pipe. The novelties will roll, no cause for alarm. The next thing that's in line for you, but the needle in your arm. Until it's broken, bang and bang, and keep on token, high intensity, we the fuck. Bang your head against the wall and smash your fucking face. We can't stop, we won't stop, we need some rocket bass. You won't think it's so cool. All your lives, it will some rule. Can't you see that you're all fools? I'm so sick of
That was Undertaker with Lethal Evil White Powder from the World Domination cassette. I had no idea that band was obscure. I really do love that cassette. It's you can tell it's very King Diamond influenced, just by the way the vocal, with some thrash and some doom and a bit of weird progressiveness. But I really like that demo, and I thought surely they'd gone on to release a substantial body of work. No, one unreleased album, which is killer, by the way. So anyway, once I got the desktop, I was able to do a lot more research, because you have to understand the way I loaded a Wikipedia page, okay, was you type in the URL, type, you wait 5 minutes for the damn page to load, then you have to save the page quickly, because loading all the page has depleted it of its RAM. Loading a Wikipedia page, you reset the braille note, and you read a static copy of the page that's been saved. So that took forever, and eventually I got tired of it. So the first time I ever heard Morbid Angel was the Thy Kingdom Come 7-inch, which was released by Eric Keller's Off the Disc Records. Eric, you may be an ass, but you've helped me so much with music. I can't say too many bad things about you. I mean, he was. If we can get off topic for a second, I used to buy albums just because he said they were good. I'd never like Killers by Iron Maiden. You know, I'd sort of heard. I had sort of heard of Iron Maiden before, and I knew like a couple songs. But Eric said that Killers was a great album, so I bought it. I was not disappointed. So that was sort of my introduction to underground metal, was basically taking cues from 80s guys who ran blogs. I mean, the first time I heard Venom was the In League with Satan single that my friend Justin posted. Hi, Justin, if you're listening. Probably not. You probably have other shit to do. But so because of that, I fostered a very different, you know.
You see, I remember I was back in the fucking grade school partial program during my middle school years. Around 10, 11, 12. And the kids there were always like, oh, dude, you talk about death, destruction all the time. You're going to love metal. And they tried to get me into metal playing Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
I remember distinctly, I was like a fucking sophomore in regular high school finally. And, there was one little ditty that I heard that actually got me into metal.
Mm-hmm.
Because my friends that actually knew me, told me all about the fucking thing.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Hello, me. Meet the real me. In my misfits way of life. A dark black past is my most valued possession. Hindsight is always 20/20. But looking back, it's still a bit fuzzy. Speak of mutually assured destruction. Nice story. Time to be a digest. Feeling paranoid to enemy of fostering. Anxiety's attacking me. My hair is getting thin. I'm in trouble for the things I haven't got to yet. I'm jumping at the bit and my palms are getting wet. Hello, me, it's me again. You can subdue but never tame me. It gives me a migraine headache, sinking down to your level. Yeah, just keep on thinking it's my fault and stay an inch or two at a kicking distance. Mankind has got to know his limitations. Feeling claustrophobic like the walls are closing in. Bloodstains on my hands and I don't know where I've been. I'm in trouble for the things I haven't got to yet. I'm sharpening the ass and my palms are getting wet. Well, me, it's nice talking to myself. A credit to dementia. Someday you too will know my pain and smile its black-toothed grin. If the war inside my head won't take a day off, I'll be dead. My icy fingers claw your back. Here I come again! Paranoid true enemy, a false friend. Anxiety's attacking me, my hair is getting thin. Once you've committed me, now you acquitted me. Claiming validity for your stupidity. Tapping at the bit, I'm sharpening the axe. Oh, here I come again.
It's a bit weak compared to what I listen to now, but I still love it.
I can't help but feel that was slightly autobiographical.
Yeah, well, the whole thing was, my friends knew I came from a mental institution and shit, and they're like, dude, you gotta listen to this. And it was like, ah. And then from that day on, I was known as the satanic baby killer of Jeanette, simply because I liked metal.
Did
You
you
have to remember the time period this was back when the satanic ritual abuse thing was happening, and cops were actually being trained for,
Yes.
satanic cults that didn't exist. But in case they do, this is the training we need. Because everything is Satan, and kids are being abducted and flown from California to New York to perform a ritual, then back to California before mom shows up to pick them up from work. Oh my God!
Yes. Did you have those friends who? It wasn't because you were, gullible or whatever. It was because their music tastes were so often proven to be what you liked that if they said, "Hey Jim, go out and buy this record," okay? Because I had 3 of those, and of course later Johnny Puke in the late, but this predates Puke. And the Eric Keller, he mentioned the band Anvil, so I ordered the documentary they did, which if you haven't seen is hilarious. It's like real life Spinal Tap, and sure enough, it was a great a great band. I really like Anvil. He mentioned Repulsion. Get buy the Repulsion album. I did. I wasn't sorry about that. He mentioned Napalm Death. So granted, I mean, we didn't always agree. I'm not and never will be an AC/DC fan. Sorry, I just don't really like hard rock. But 9 times out of 10, his recommendations were spot on what I wanted to hear. Did you have any of those friends who were like?
Yeah, that was Jeff and John, even though Jeff's did sometimes miss. I mean, he liked Korn. Oh, God. That's not metal.
Well, that reminds me of my own metal. So, I told you that I liked the sound of metal, but no one knew what metal was. I mean, people were telling me that Kiss was metal.
No, that's hard rock.
I
I understand that there's a lot of, early metal bands that followed Kiss and would have sucked Gene's dick if given the chance. And yeah, there are a couple songs even I like, but that's hard rock.
It's actually kind of funny because the first time I heard Manowar, I was like, which was another band Eric Keller recommended, hey. But the first time I ever heard Manowar, it was Blood of My Enemies. I was like, well, this is what I always wanted Kiss to sound like. Anthemic, but not, anthemic macho power metal, or Motley Crue was metal, or things like Poison. They called Poison metal. And yeah, Poison's metal, the German death metal band. But they weren't talking about the German death metal. So anyway,
there's a difference because you got your fucking glam rock, and then you have hair metal, which tried to borrow from glam rock.
Well, early Motley Crue, I could say, the first 2 albums were sort of metal-ish. The first 2 albums weren't bad, actually. They just wussied out on the 3rd.
I mean, but you talk to kids today, and anything with fucking distorted guitars got to be metal.
Anything with distorted guitars and maybe double bass drums. So anyway, I when I was 11 or 12, the bands that were promoted to me as metal were Korn and Slipknot. And yeah, I can say I liked them at the time because I didn't know anything better. I mean,
You didn't hear anything better to say, okay, this is garbage compared to this. I mean, I had that with, because like the Metallica's Black album was like one of the things I listened to constantly as a kid. Now it's just so
me too,
watered
me
down
too.
that it's
Yeah.
like, and you know, after having heard so much metal, it's like, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. That's not even metal, you know,
Yeah,
because I've
and
heard enough to actually start gauging, you know.
I could probably quote you Metallica's Black Album from memory just because of how much I heard it. I don't mind some of the songs now, but most of them I have no desire to listen to. Inner Sandman, I have no desire to hear ever again.
And shit truly splatters.
Yeah, but
Boom,
things the
boom.
faster songs, fine. But although I'd rather hear something else. But then I heard, I got Master of Puppets because someone gave me a burned CD of that album they did with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra, which was abysmal, by the way. That's not how you do symphonic metal. And I just remember really liking the song Master of Puppets. Of course, it was done with, James Hetfield's 90s vocals, which meant basically just singing. So I didn't realize how thrashy the album was. And I just remember listening to Battery and going, "What? This is so much better." The first time I heard hardcore punk, if you don't mind playing this.
Yeah, obviously, no, I don't.
Well, let me find it.
Yeah, I find it something
I figured it's. I figure we'll switch out one you, one me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was a Green Day fan, and I was looking for the previous drummer's old band because I'm like that. I'm one of those guys who,
Let's see what everyone did before they were in this band.
yeah. Let's see what everyone did. So I downloaded something that was a punk rock. It was a compilation, and the first band album was called Corrupted Morals, and this was the first hardcore punk song I ever heard. Keep in mind, I was a Green Day fan. I was used to basically
Even back in
rock.
the day, I tried forcing myself to like Green Day just because, that's chick music and I want pussy. And I still couldn't totally get behind it.
So I went from Green Day to that. Check the chat.
Good morning, turd brain.
That's right.
About the ones on faraway land. You need to understand. I see the outcome, not your face. Got to something more wrapped up in it. I said the fight, left out to try. Then they started walking right up. a bit of bad news to say. I said I'm just another thing. Now it's the people that got it. I said the fight, that's how to fight. But there's no one beside us.
That was Corrupted Morals with Be All You Can Be. And like I said, I went from Green Day to that. And the minute he said, I just remember, the intro's kind of whatever, but the minute it, and then when he said go, it was a pure mindfuck. If you could have seen me, I was air drumming the whole time. So that was my first experience with, I'd heard like the Sex Pistols and the Ramones, and Sex Pistols are good, but the Ramones never really left an impression on me. That was just it.
I think there were
guess
3 songs I actually still like by the Ramones.
I guess I was too young, but by that time and the Sex Pistols I like the Sex Pistols because they were a little bit grittier and a little bit, although, just as fucking manufactured. And I heard like one Dead Kennedys song, and later on I became a fan of the Dead Kennedys, but hearing Corrupted Morals was like, wait, this is what punk is? It has a bit of a metallic edge, but I'd say it's pretty squarely punk. It was like, wow, that's what punk is. That's figuring that out was a big, and like I said, what I thought was metal was Korn and Slipknot. Like, I thought Slipknot was death metal. Now, before you start, I was like 12. And then I heard Cannibal Corpse's Shredded Humans and was like, that's death metal. There was a time where I worshipped the Death Clock albums because I thought that was death metal.
I've heard people fucking, talking, saying that Slayer was proto-death metal. Some of their albums, you could hear it. And this one track here was like just one of the ones where I could actually, see, oh yeah, that is pretty damn close. You could tell that this would inspire some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Our love
fuck you,
can be reduced
commercial.
to data.
I didn't feel
The
like going
average
into my damn
person
player.
would fall
This is
in
the
love
price I
2
pay.
times and
Get an ad blocker.
no idea how tempting it is just to click on Chemical Warfare right after that, because it's like my favorite Slayer song with my second favorite right there.
South of Heaven. Well, it's one of those albums that if Tom had done more of like a lower vocalist, it could probably easily. I mean, Vader covered that song and basically did nothing to it. They just had a different, lower vocal, silent screams, and it became a death metal song. I didn't, I was always told that death metal was a '90s thing.
Oh, that's when it kind of blew up, like fucking shit. And everyone kind of knew what it was for a while before they forgot again.
And
because you had like Ace Ventura with fucking Cannibal Corpse on it.
And imagine my surprise when I found out that there was death metal in 1986.
Yeah.
And I can't find a good rip. Anyway, so one of the things that Eric really made me was appreciate the history of music. Death's early demos, Necrophagia's early demos and album, Morbid Angels, Abominations album, Masters 85 album, of course, Possessed. Really made me appreciate the fact, I guess you could say, the development of, here's an interesting. What was the heaviest music in like 1980? Iron Maiden, maybe Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, maybe some of the punk stuff, right? I mean, it's great music. I love the first Maiden album. I love Heaven and Hell, and I love, but it's still sort of rooted in the rock context. 10 years later, you have Blasphemy, which is total black death metal. The escalation in music from 77, 78 to 1990 is one of the things I've always found fascinating. And I guess I obviously the internet has helped facilitate because I wasn't around to trade tapes or whatever. So that's something. Yeah, Slayer. Obviously, a lot of band. Angel of Death, I can hear a lot of early death metal of the more thrashy kind influence in like Angel of Death. In fact, I didn't hear it until I heard Death's Infernal Death demo. I was like, now I can hear it. Creator, Destruction, Hellhammer, even. Yeah, I'd say they all influence death metal. Hellhammer was one of those bands that he told me to check out. I checked out. This sounds like a punk band covering Black Sabbath. So it's getting into like the more obscure and sort of falling into having people who, by the way, thought I was really annoying and didn't like me at all, most of them. But nevertheless, they help, finding out the extremity and things like that were something that I caught, and it was all because of the internet.
Yeah, I know. It's like fuck.
So the internet does have good and.
Back in the day, you get things like mixtapes. Oh god, that reminds me. There is a story that fucking just plays right off of that. Because, you get these mixtapes and half the time you have no idea who the hell's on them,
Yes.
They're just being traded around. Here's some bands someone got, and this was, I think, this was a tape that was just simply marked West Virginia mix. Someone from West Virginia, fucking made it. And, I remember liking the music. I was like, who the fuck is this? Well, I don't know. Because it was copied from a friend of a friend of a friend who didn't bother fucking writing down who the fuck it was.
Yep.
So that pissed me off. And then, years later, online, that's not it. There we go. I hear it again, and it's like, wait a minute, I know where I heard that before. That was off the West Virginia mix. Oh my god. You know? And it was just like so nice to fucking hear, you know?
Finally figure out who it is.
Yeah, yeah. From Slayer's Silent Scream to some Durketta that I didn't even know was an all-female band or anything. You know, it was just like, this is fucking kick-ass.
Yes, yes it is.
Because that's one thing with music, you don't know who the fuck's behind it unless the vocalist is explicitly, you know, doing clean vocals, and it sounds like something. Sometimes it's still hit and miss.
I have a story after that, but let's do the song first. Not just because I love Durketta.
Oh, yeah. And what part of that screams, I am woman?
So, exactly. I first heard of them when they were talking about good female bands. So, I did know that. But I'll tell you a story about. I was listening to Black Knight Meditations. I think I've mentioned them before. They play everything from Iron Maiden to Archcoat. So, pretty broad reach. Anyway, they were doing a thing where they were doing two songs by a band in a row. But of course, they won't tell you who the songs, who the band is until everything, their little block is done.
Oh, by the way, that was the Unholy Ground off of Goddess of Death.
Buy it now. So I'm listening, just sort of vegging out, doing my thing. And there's some pretty good sort of blackish, deathish metal going on, and I thought the singer sounded pretty vicious. But again, as you said, you can guess, but you kind of can't tell. She had, they have more of a high-pitched voice than Dracetta, but still, plenty of guys have high-pitched screaming, voices, So, enjoy the first song. Then the second song comes on, and it's called Beyond the Distant Blue. And the vocal starts up, and it's spoken word. Oh, I didn't know it was a girl. The band is called Adorier, and the album is called Like Cutting the Sleeping. Everyone should buy it. So I've had experiences like that. A funny story about me is, for a while, I wouldn't listen to anything that wasn't extreme metal. Thrash, death, black, whatever. Or at least what I thought was extreme, which was mostly metalcore. Because I thought that all metal with like cleaner vocals was dinosaur rock, basically. Because I'd heard like Ozzy Osbourne or whatever. You know me, I've never really been. It's like a couple songs now, but I've never really been the biggest Ozzy fan. It took me a while to appreciate like Black Sabbath, because all I heard was Iron Man, and I was like, okay, it's whatever. Iron Maiden helped that with a song called Run to the Hills. Obviously, everyone's heard Run to the Hills. Because it just had a huge epic chorus, and I can't ignore an epic chorus. But one of the bands, you're going to laugh, Jim, was called Dragon Force. That really helped me get out of this whole extreme metal. Dragon Force is a power metal band from the UK, which has like thrash beats, but like really anthemic choruses, and they're really stupid. But they spoke to me in the language I understood, which was the fast sort of thrash beat and the fast guitar solo, but they had clean vocals. And of course, when I discovered the NWOBHM, I was like, wait, this is heavy, and yet the guy's singing. Wait, you don't have to growl to be heavy?
Yeah.
And it's funny because what got me into Sabbath was I heard Paranoid on the radio once. I was like, this sounds a lot like some NWOBHM, and it was 10 years before the NWO was a thing, right? I was like, this is actually pretty good. I was like, is that Sabbath? And I bought Master of Reality and Paranoid like the next week, and I still say Master of Reality is just one of those albums. Like Paranoid has a couple filler tracks. Master of Reality is one of those albums that I can. I'm not the only one who didn't like Sabbath at first. King Fowley from Deceased was saying that the first time he heard Sabbath was Planet Caravan. And he was like, what is this hippie shit? Which I still don't like Planet Caravan, if I'm honest. Hey, it's hippie music.
Yeah, it's hippie music, but, is it good hippie music?
Yeah,
versus
whatever.
The dime a dozen shit.
True, it's just not really my thing. I don't know. It's, and of course, once you got into more, what metal is, you started questioning sacred cows. Not just sacred cows of what you believed in, as in, my sort of fragmented Catholicism, which went out the window, but also sacred cows in terms of metal that is considered to be sacred. Not all of it, but
you see that's just something I don't think you get into these groups that are always like, oh, these are unpopular metalhead opinions. And like the kids today think that this band sucks. You know, the most basic, overused metalhead opinion is this band sucks. Is unpopular because, you know, you're brought up now thinking these are the fucking things everyone should like. No. I mean, an unpopular opinion is this band rules.
Well, when you get into the metal scene, and it's drilled into your head, Master of Puppets is like the Bible of thrash, and Pantera is like the Bible of 90s metal. Master of Puppets, Pantera. Master of Puppets, Pantera. Master of Puppets, sing, sheep, sing. Master. So you get into.
I didn't have that. I was from a different age. You know, people kept trying to say Guns N' Roses and Anthrax are the shit and blah, 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 and tried beating that in my head. It's like, they suck. You know.
Oh, that was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Okay, before we get into the Sacred Cow thing, Eric Keller, which, yeah, I know I'm going to mention his name a lot, just deal with it. He was a huge influence on my music taste. He posted an Anthrax single, the Soldiers of Metal / Howling Fury 7-inch. From before the first album. I loved it. I still think Soldiers of Metal, the one from the 7-inch, is one of the most anthemic metal songs ever. It's produced by Ross, the boss of Manowar. And Howling Fury is also good. So that was the first ever Anthrax that I really remember hearing. I probably heard them before and just didn't, you know. But that was the first Anthrax I really remember hearing. I was like, I walked into school the next day and was like, I need to get more Anthrax because I was telling my friend I need to get more Anthrax because what I just heard, they have to be the best fucking band in the world. If that's what they did in like '83, they have to be the biggest.
I know where this is going. Okay.
So then I got Fistful of Metal. I thought the production was a bit weak, and okay, the cover of I'm 18 was cheesy as hell, but it had Death Riders. It had the two songs I like. So Fistful of Metal, amazing album. Dan Lilker, Neil Turbin, you know. So and I got into SOD, which you know how amazing I think the SOD album is. Second album has its moments. So then I bought Spreading the Disease. I'm not saying it's a bad album because it's not. I mean, I think you'll agree. It's not a bad album. It's just.
You're talking about shit I haven't listened to in ages and I've forgotten. You're forgetting how ancient I am.
I'll say that the first 5 Anthrax albums aren't bad, but it's just they weren't. I don't know. They weren't what I wanted. It sounded like a Happy Artillery. All right, fine. We'll do it. I don't know. Look up the song Madhouse.
I once heard Madhouse. That's on Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, well, look up the song. Hang on, let me talk. Say something.
I don't know. I'm looking up shit.
Just
you have
think.
me multitasking, and I'm too old for this shit.
So, okay, here, let me. Okay.
I'm fucking a pig. Yeah, there we are. That's what you need to know.
Okay, here. I mean, I'm not saying this is bad, but you have to remember, I'd already heard SOD, so I was expecting this to be either SOD or like, here, play that. I don't care if
I'll
you've heard
play that.
Play it.
Tonight's dinner, it's gonna be great.
This always pops into a browser I never use.
Yep.
You know the funny thing is, whenever Slayer had their reunion, we took the end track and said it's time to go up to the food, piss break, and all that.
Now,
Yeah, it's not bad, but
I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, I can still enjoy it, but where are the balls?
yeah, I know.
Thrash needs. I mean, and keep in mind, I already heard the SOD album. Here, let compare it to this. This is off the first album. Okay, this has balls. Oh, really? You're gonna? Okay, here. This has. What the hell? I hate YouTube sometimes.
Just name the song. I got Stormtroopers of Death up.
Okay,
Speak English or Die. Is that the
play
album you're looking for?
No, I was looking for Death Rider by Anthrax. I was going to show you what Anthrax used to be.
Oh, okay.
In fact, there. This, well, judge for yourself.
Yes, agreed. That's got a lot more balls behind it.
So that's what I thought. I mean, that's what I expected Anthrax. I knew they changed singers, obviously, because I'd read the history. I knew they changed singers, and I knew Lilker was fired by that singer. It's funny because I love him, but I love his voice, but I hate the guy, Neil Turbin. So I knew they changed singers, but I don't know. It's just I knew it wasn't going to be like SOD. Okay, I knew SOD was meant to be a project band. It was meant to be a lot faster and meaner. But I don't know. I expected something like that. It had more ball. And I like the grit of Neil. I thought Joey's a great vocalist, but he's too clean for that music. I like the grit and I like the vocal acrobatics. I like people who can scream their fucking heads off, like that Undertaker thing, that I showed you earlier. The guy had like 5 different voices he used. So yeah, I don't know. So that was one of the. Like I said, I don't hate Anthrax up to say Persistence. After that, I kind of do. When they went grunge and the rap metal shit, which I think is what you're referring to. When they here's Anthrax. I'm the man. So, but anyway, so when I was growing up, like I said before, Master of Puppets is the Bible of thrash, and Pantera is the Bible of like true metal. And you were not going to question those. You were not going to question that at all. So, going on to metal,
Fucking
because
trendy ass posers.
I discovered the metal archives, which people have their own opinions of. Sorry, I need a drink. I discovered the metal archives and the review section, and it was amazing. Not that the reviews changed my opinion, because I still love Master of Puppets, but I later hear I still like Master of Puppets. I don't hate it. Okay, maybe I don't like Orion very much. That's but
kind of. Yeah, it's okay.
Cliff needed to lay off the hippy dippy crap, but yeah, I mean, I don't hate Master of Puppets. I mean, there's that review by Ultra Boris I think I've shared with you before, where he just goes off on how this album killed metal because blah blah blah. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I think it's a hilarious review, where he says that Lars Ulrich is responsible for the death of metal.
I thought that was hilarious.
I think it's more Dimebag Darrell, but
I mean,
you can't.
that was probably one of the most like. I just love that just read like a pure metalhead review. You know, because you heard flat out. This guy said flat out, the Dave.
Metal is about being wide fucking open.
The day that Dave Mustaine was taking that bus ride home was the day that Megadeth became the better
More
band.
metal. Overkill didn't care. Overkill just wanted to play and sold their tape for. They sold the master of their demo for booze money, which they did. And so that was a pure metalhead review. So I get into. I'm a pretty abrasive person, as you know. If I think something sucks, I'm not going to. Well, in my humble opinion, this music just is not for me. It sounds like an abortion minus all the fun parts. I'm blunt about what I say and about my opinions of music, which is I learned that from punk rock reviewers who weren't afraid to say this band sucks, that band sucks, and that's the same thing with metalhead reviews.
But you see, the way I grew up, the most common metalhead opinion was this band sucks. Which band? Name it. That Abortion Liturgy? Yeah, everyone makes fun of that. Yeah, big whoop. But I've heard things, saying that Slayer, Iron Maiden, fucking Black Sabbath, they suck. And these are people I still call metalheads because that's where their taste in music falls. But, like, this band sucks. It didn't matter if it was something everyone worshipped. If you thought it sucked, you'd say it sucked.
See, the age I grew up in, everything was worshipped. If it was, and people get pissed. I mean, I don't have to say that something is my opinion. It should already be taken as writ that it's my opinion that this sucks. I don't have to say to say, well, in my opinion. But why do people care what I have to say? That's. I mean, if you really don't like what if you think I'm wrong, if you think Opeth is the best band in the world, or you think the Black Dahlia Murder are like gods of modern metal, fine. I don't care. I think Opeth are a bunch of wankers, and Black Dahlia Murder are kind of okay, I guess, if you're into that sort of thing. But why do you care what I have to say? But I mean, the review of Master of Puppets. I don't agree with some of. I mean, okay, I agree with some of the stuff said about Lars, but I like some of the songs on Master. But I'm not
You
gonna
know,
get all. I'm not gonna get butthurt that.
You see, that was another thing people don't get. I mean, yeah, okay, everyone dresses sort of the same. Well, almost everyone does. You know, big whoop. I mean, and they stick to this like, you know, whole entire thing like being an individual means doing everything the way I do it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just happen to like the look a lot better, so that's what I went for. It wasn't me trying to emulate, you know, everything that I thought was cool. It was more like, that is cool looking like that, I'm going to go for it. And yeah, why the hell should I have short hair? Fuck this shit.
I'm blind, so I just don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't dress metal. I mean,
I went from dressing like my mom dressed me because she literally did, because I didn't care what the hell I wore as long as I could go places, to, yeah, this actually looks decent. I like it. Let's show people how fucked up I am.
Okay, let's. I do mine, but you don't want to see me. But
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
But you see, you know, people stick to this, you know, aesthetic appearance, but, you know, the main thing was the opinions were pretty damn diverse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what the individually was. We were fucking bullshitting ideas.
And then that's, I mean, like when I went into Metal Archives and I read Master of Puppets reviews, some people said it was a thrash classic, others said it was a weaker Ride the Lightning, and I was like, wait a minute, it was such a new concept, because I was like, you know, I was still a teenager, you know, a young teenager.
You grew up in the must like everything, and then like parents riding off of nostalgia.
There's people who hate, you know, not only don't like but hate Master, and the Pantera thing. I was brought up to believe that Pantera were the guardians of metal. Wait, Pantera killed metal? Wait, huh?
You see how the Pantera albums, I tend to like, you know, the ones you don't like, and you like the Great Southern Trendkill, which I didn't really care for. But that's the metalhead thing to do. We're butting heads on this, and it's like one band. And the worst part is, you know, I don't typically listen to a lot of Pantera because, you know, most of it's just too weak for me.
I don't listen to... I mean, if it comes on my library, I'll listen to it or whatever. I'm not going to, like, skip it or whatever. But whatever. I like Trendkill because it's, like, the least groovy and it's the most violent. Although Power Metal's still my favorite album. It's the last of the... It's not glam. It may have a few trace elements, I guess, but it's the last of the so-called glam albums. And it's before Anselmo totally wrecked his voice. And it is brilliant. I love Power Metal. And I'll admit, and I think we can both admit, Metal Magic is one of those, like, so bad it's good albums because it's kind of touching in how horrible.
It's like this weird mix where it's like you would laugh more. You laugh at it thinking it's, you know, them attempting to parody it, but then you realize they're really into and attempting to be the glam hair metal kind of shit. It's like so awesome. Just for this, like, oh my god, and that's what makes it awesome. It's like, wait, no, they're not making fun of it. They're actually into it. That's awesome.
I guess that would be qualified as listening to it ironically. I just hate the word listening to it ironically.
It's not listening to it ironically because, you know, it's got that vibrant edge and shit. I mean,
yeah, and there are actually some decent riffs buried in there. That's the scary thing, is there are actually some you know, not amazing, but, you know, okay. And then later on, I mean, I Am the Night has some great songs, and Power Metal I think is still the best Pantera album. But yes, you like Far Beyond Driven, an album that if I puked on, it would be a waste of good puke. But see, that's how we're different.
Fucking shit Becoming. I remember whenever I saw that live for the first time, I was tripping on so much acid that, like, my concept of reality was beyond anything that, like, would even be reality.
No, whereas when I listen to it, I just think, fuck, brocore.
Well, the whole thing was, you know, I'm sitting there singing along with it, tripping my ass off, and for some reason I thought that my voice was forcing everyone in front of me to sing the same lyrics, but then someone behind me was forcing everyone behind me, including myself, to sing the lyrics.
Yes.
You know, whenever they'd stop, like, you know, right in the middle of the chorus, you know, let the audience sing a line, and it was like, And I'm on so much acid at the time, like I said, my entire fucking...
I don't hate Phil. Everyone, I think he has a big mouth, super big mouth, but he has a toe dipped in the underground. He helped revive necrophagia, and Jim knows what a huge necrophagia fan I am. He has that black metal project Scour, so he knows what's up. So I don't hate Phil. And the one good thing Pantera did was they would bring out like Anal Cunt and I Hate God as openers. So you get a bunch of radio metalheads. You get a bunch of radio. I Hate God comes on with feedback and hate. And they're playing in some huge arena, and Mike Williams, the singer's going, how the fuck did we get here? And Pantera fans hated those bands that, Anal Cunt and I Hate God, because they weren't Pantera, they weren't Walk. I Hate God. I Hate God is what I always thought grunge should have sounded like.
Somewhere back in the day that, like, everyone said, gore. Okay, whenever they toured people, you'd either get shit that completely sucks or shit that completely rocks. There was no, okay, this was decent, It was it was complete hit or miss, like, because, they were such a band that, like, who would want to tour with that? I mean, that's how, like, they toured with the Meatmen, so my friends started playing Meatmen. I was like, oh, God, that's awesome. And then, like, they fucking toured with ICP and Twisted. It's like, oh, God, not this shit.
Yeah, or they tour with... Nowadays, it's like Every Time I Die and, like, shitty glam bands, and then the next, they're touring with, like, Ghoul and, bands like that. So, yeah, it is what I mean. Cannibal Corpse tours with a bunch of crappy bands every now and then. Deicide toured with Disgorge and Broken Hope. I'm not complaining about that. Great death metal. Anvil toured with the Mentors. That's an interesting combination there. So yeah, but getting back, so it was sort of mind opening that people would. I mean, like I say, I didn't understand. I mean, I loved Pantera back then, because I didn't know anything better. And once I sort of got into the heavier music, it wasn't that people's opinions affected. No, it was when I listened back to Slipknot or when I listened back to Pantera or whatever, I didn't hear what I used to hear. It was simple as that. When I got into really heavy music, I would go back and listen to my old favorites, and I'm like, I'm not hearing it anymore. Whatever I heard is gone. So no, nobody's opinion changed. My music or whatever. It was just I thought I heard heaviness, but so yeah, you grew up in the and nowadays in death metal groups. Yeah, okay, I say things suck all the time, but you should get. Who cares? You grew up at the age where everything sucked. I grew up at the age where you have to like, and I grew up at the age where you had to like classic. Like if you didn't like Sabbath, you were a poser. I'm not a huge fan of Scorpions, okay? I've heard Sales of Charon, and I thought I had good riffs, and I could hear where the NWOBHM took inspiration from it. I just prefer the more streamlined NWOBHM thing. You know what I mean? It was a little bit too hard rock for my taste. And which is fine. I mean, that's my taste. If you don't like this, you're a poser. It's well... If you don't like it, that means you don't like it.
Everyone would do that, but it was more like, the one thing about, being called a poser, it was more of a test to see what kind of person you were. Would you defend what you like or not? And could you form an argument about what you like or not?
I mean, I don't think it was a bad song at all. I thought, if I had heard it when I was younger, I probably would have really liked it. I didn't hear it until I'd already heard the things it influenced, and I decided that I liked the things it influenced more. Whereas with Sabbath, I legitimately liked Sabbath. Not every song, some song, but I legitimately like Sabbath and Maiden and Venom and things like that. But yeah, nowadays there's a starter kit you can get. There's an underground starter kit for you. Venom, Sarcophago, fucking, you know, it's kind of funny actually how everything's caught up. Like people, Varg Vikernes says he never heard Venom or didn't like Venom, right? And everyone's, how could you not like Venom or whatever? You must be a poser. That was before Venom was mandatory. Venom was seen as sort of a campy, fucking, you know, joke band, I guess, back then.
Yeah.
That was before you had to like Venom to be black metal. So I don't know. I mean, as much as I maybe don't understand why people wouldn't like, I get it. Not everyone likes the same things I like. I mean,
Yeah, but the whole thing is we have to have group consensus on everything and blah, blah,
yeah,
blah. And like,
yeah.
I was talking about, the aesthetic, everyone's wearing the fucking chains and leather jacket and shit. And they were bitching about the aesthetic. Everyone looks this way as opposed to, well, how do they think? How do they act? I mean, fucking shit, you get some Pretty in Pink type that's just as metal as, like, someone dressed like, and the funny part is you get the person dressing up in the fucking Flaming Skull t-shirt wearing torn jeans and fucking spikes everywhere, sitting there, fucking is like the least metal person because their fucking idea of the world is so homogenized into what everyone is supposed to think and like everything. It's like, get the fuck away from me. I'd rather hang out with this Pretty in Pink chick that at least, called me a fucking poser for liking, Far Beyond Driven. Oh, wow.
we were at a punk show and Puke saw this Pretty in Pink. I mean, she wore a lot of pink, and he made a snide comment about, oh, what, are you here to watch your boyfriend play? I don't think he was being serious. I just think he was being obnoxious because we're obnoxious people, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he found himself on the floor. I was just like, I just got beat up by a chick dressed in pink. Let's be friends. And she became a great friend. And she turned me on to a lot of amazing bands. But not to get back to the Scorpions thing really quick, but if you don't like that, you don't like what influenced your music. Okay, do you like every single influence that every single musician that you listen to ever had? I'm not a huge fan of blues rock. I like Sabbath, but I'm not a huge, because Sabbath streamlined the good things that I think of. I'm not a huge fan of prog rock. In fact, I hate most prog rock. But I like what Sabbath did to it. They used a little bit of it, they streamlined it, and made it into something that I like. Does that mean I have to go out and buy Yes albums? Because if it does, I'm jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, I know.
Hate Yes. So,
I mean, there's a lot of things that's like, yeah, okay, I mean,
I sometimes don't get how the Reaper Metal guys are telling a story, and it's on one of their podcasts about how a guy in a Dark Funeral shirt asked one of the guys to turn it down. I think it was Creator, and he was going, wait a minute, Dark Funeral did like Sodom covers and stuff. How can you not, and I get it. It's kind of weird for me to comprehend that someone who liked Dark Funeral wouldn't like Creator. But they exist. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and everyone says your taste in music sucks. Oh, wow,
yes.
That's such an attack of character. Fucking, I know my taste in music sucks. Deal with it.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, me and friends get into arguments about, how you probably like some shit that I would.
Fucking shit, I force fed you some of the Weird Al originals, and like, you're like, this isn't my thing. I can kind of see what you're going for here.
I
And it
can
does
see.
explore themes that,
I
like,
like the
I guess if you're
lyrics.
6 years old, it would blow your mind.
Yeah,
But, like, and that
I
was
like
my
the
main point
lyrics.
was that,
Yeah,
the lyrics were for, like, Nature Trail to Hell. That was dissecting, your typical slasher 80s horror,
yeah.
And it was a good dissection of it. And you had The Good Old Days. That was a fucking psychopath
That
growing
was a
up,
funny song. Yes.
you
So yeah,
know.
I like the lyrics, but the music's just not really my. It's just doesn't do it for me.
And,
I
there's
get
a huge, but, when people, hell, even just bringing up Weird Al, you got people that only know him for his fucking parodies.
yes,
Which, that's the big ticket item, and that's all he ever does is parody. He doesn't do complete social satire. Like, Trigger Happy. Oh,
yes.
fuck, that was great. Little Fluffy took a round, better take him to the vet.
Funny stuff. So yeah, you've and I'm sure you like some, I don't know, hard rock or stuff that I would probably puke at.
I mean, there is some Kiss I actually enjoy, and I know you'd vomit all over it.
I did. I have tried. I mean, Eric has sent me Kiss stuff, and I have legitimately tried to listen to it. And
And here's the funny part. My one buddy, he worshipped Gene Simmons and all this shit. Probably still does. And, like, even back in the day, it's like I tried to, get into all the shit he was just to see where he was coming from. There was still a lot of miss when it comes to Kiss. I just couldn't get into it even whenever
yeah,
I wanted to see where he was coming from with all this shit. It's like, I can't. But then, back in the day, there was also this point where it's like, okay, I like some Motorhead, then I just fell in love with, like, 90% of what they did, over the years. But, like, at the time, my exposure was limited. It's like, okay, that's a cool cover song, okay, whatever, Then it's like, Ace of Spades, yeah, that's a good song, but it's overplayed. Then you get the Civil War, it's like, oh my god.
for me,
Yeah.
Kiss is like they would write a decent riff that I would like, and then they would just not do anything with it. I do remember listening the first time I heard Motorhead, and it was Ace of Spades, of course, and it was that bass, and I was like, who has a bass that sounds like that? Oh my god! And I love Motorhead, and I they're just one of those bands that I can never. If I'm in the right mood for them, they're great, and
Mm-hmm.
Lemmy is so much greater than all of us.
Oh yeah, Lemmy is God.
I mean, but then there's albums where I mean,
That
Discharge.
reminds me. Oh fuck, there were these pukes back whenever fucking Lemmy died, saying, "Now we all know how hard it is for metalheads when one of their gods dies." Okay, first off, you're attempting to sympathize with something you can't sympathize with it because you're not even into the fucking music.
Yeah.
Okay. Second off, you're trying to make this huge, which, yeah, it was a bit emotional, but what would Lemmy want us to do? Get drunk and fuck. That's what Lemmy would want us to do to remember him.
And play bass.
Oh, yeah.
Play very loud music. Actually, one of my friends was like, "Wait a minute, Lemmy made it to 70."
Yeah, exactly.
You'll
It's like, how the
notice.
hell did he live that long?
You'll
And
notice.
like, I love the fucking thing where it was like Doctor said he had to start cutting out the smoking and drinking, so he switched from regulars to lights and went from whiskey to vodka.
Whiskey to vodka and he cut down on his smoking a little bit.
Yeah, instead of 3 packs, it was 2.
That's
And it was, instead of full flavor, it was light.
and you'll notice he was like 70 for a day.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like Satan was like 3, 2, 1. Okay, 70. All right. Well, my band needs a bass player, so
Sorry, Lemmy. It's been a good run for you, hasn't it been? Enjoy.
Hey, you made 23 Motorhead albums.
Yeah, I know. Fuck.
I mean, that last one was pretty good too. Bad Magic, I think it was called.
I remember hearing a couple tracks off of it, and it's kind of muddled. Because my brain gets easily muddled these days.
Well, and Motorhead kind of, yeah.
I mean, there's a
know?
lot of it's like, Corn. Everything sounds the same, but like it sounds the same to the point where it sucks. Whereas Motorhead, everything sounds the same, but yet they can actually construct different songs, even though each album essentially sounds the same album to album. Each song is different,
And I mean, they're all playing. How did Seth Putnam live to be 43?
I don't know.
I mean, I was chatting. I was chatting with, and he said, "I saw Seth Putnam do things post coma that healthy people wouldn't survive from." I mean, so Gigi Allen, how did he live to be? He was almost 37.
Hey, is our favorite school teacher still alive? Tesco V.
What?
Is our favorite school teacher still alive? Tesco V.
Oh,
I
yes.
know I've heard stories about him partying up. It's like, fuck.
Oh yeah, he's still alive, I believe. Yes. Oh yes, he was a school. He taught kindergarten, I think. So he would teach kids how to read and write, and then at night he'd go party with the high schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no,
Just
that's
don't
why
tell your parents I'm buying you beer.
Oh yeah, that was him. I mean, and yet he could put on a respectable face if he needed to.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I used to hate him because when I was a kid, Touch and Go Records hated MP3 blogs, and they would always take the shit down. I didn't realize he didn't have anything to do with Touch and Go Records after a while, because that wasn't really his thing.
Mm-hmm.
But so I was like, because all I saw was that it was founded by Tesco V, so I was like, oh fuck Tesco V. But then I heard the meme, and I was like, and then I heard the stories. It was just like, oh yeah, he's pretty cool.
I mean,
Yeah,
hell, I remember fucking, back whenever, they were hammering Napster really hard. And, like, Metallica jumped on the bandwagon, and the band members themselves were singing, no, 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 you can't do this shit. And what was the #1 downloaded song for free? Anything by Metallica. Like, people that didn't even like Metallica, people that didn't even like metal, were downloading Metallica just to spite them.
Get it right, Jim. That's not what they said. What they said was, Napster, bad.
Mm-hmm.
Money, good. I know, it's funny because, I mean...
And, I know a lot of people, yeah, it does cut into it when it comes... You think about it from this perspective, yeah, okay, there are people that will never buy the album because they got it for free. But sometimes that's how you got new fans. I mean, fuck. I got, free... heard God's music to fucking review, and I bought the damn album.
Yep. I'm just going to say this, okay? And this will be a controversial... Actually, I don't think it'll be a controversial take. Regardless of whether you like it or hate it, you're not going to stop it.
Yeah.
There is no way you're not going to stop it.
We live... Because back in the day, like I said, we had the tape trading days. Like, do you know how... God. If we were to go back to, like, whenever I first got into metal, I had because I could get like a bundle of fucking 10 blank tapes for like $3, 90 to 120 minute long.
Yeah.
And fucking I recorded so many albums from friends.
Yep.
That was most of my collection. Was like, this is Metallica. There's like 3 albums from Metallica per
That's how
cassette. These were like 2. I could fit even 2 Iron Maidens on a fucking 120.
That's how people in like the Eastern Bloc got music.
But then after a couple years, and I started having a job and doing criminal activities, I actually went out and spent money. Because of me having those tapes, I wanted the actual original releases on CD, and I had like the full Iron Maiden discography up to what was it? What was the album with Falling Down? Fucking Sign of the Cross, X Factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had up to there the full discography, including like all the 80s and early 90s shit that had the 2 CD deal, where like they had all the B-sides to all their singles.
Yeah, that took me a while to find. I'll say, okay, well, actually, Scott's the one who gives me shit about. I don't think you really care. You know that I download shit all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and but I buy things if I like them. I you know buy a CD or buy a shirt or buy a whatever, and I always tell people, look, download it if you want to, and if you like it, buy it. I mean,
Support the fuckers if you like it.
yeah,
Throw them some money so that way they can live and make more shit you like.
yeah, exactly. But I'm not saying don't download to preview or whatever. And if you don't want to buy a CD, buy a shirt. If you know if because I get people who I don't have that many CDs anymore because I got my shit ripped off and whatever. But if maybe I can't afford a CD, I'll buy a shirt or something.
Mm-hmm.
So get something or see them live whenever live shows open up. So
Mm-hmm.
always support your band regardless of whether you
Oh yeah,
torrent.
definitely. You want to get the merch, they tend to get a little bit more of a cut than just off the album sales.
Yes.
But definitely buy the album too, because you want them to know that you want more of that shit,
Oh
and
yeah.
not just a cool looking T-shirt.
Oh yeah. Do whatever you can, basically, is what I'm saying. And promote them, obviously. You know
Yeah.
how I can be quite annoying when have you listened to this album yet? Have you listened to this? Why have you listened to this album yet? Oh, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So
The only thing that pisses me off is like I'm at work and you post 6 albums and then start going off on tangents, burying them, and it's like I can't find this shit now. What the fuck? I'm
yeah.
off work now. I can actually listen to it because I can't listen to it while I'm sitting there being an asshole to people, telling them they can't move.
Yes, okay. I don't apologize for anything, as you know. So yes, by
Mm-hmm.
all means, like I said, support the bands and but like I said, you're not gonna. I mean, the Cliff of the Freeze, the punk band The Freeze. I guess his former manager, started sending cease and desist letters to blogs telling him to take the shit off, and Cliff was like, "Dude, if Metallica couldn't stop it, just let it go." You know, if Metallica couldn't stop it, then just. And Metallica kind of embraced it. There, well, okay, fine. If, you know,
But fuck,
the,
what was I
okay,
thinking?
the really quick. The good thing about torrents, though, is you can find rare. I have the entire Megadeth discography pre-remastered. They've remastered it again, by the way. Last year, they remastered the remasters, and everything sounds like I have a ear infection because everything's just so not good sounding. Anyway, but I have the original CD releases. I have all those Iron Maiden. Good luck finding those Iron Maiden 2 CD things that you were talking about with all the B-sides.
Yeah.
You have
Fucking
to have
ex-wife made me pitch them all out.
I
Fucking
have
shit.
the Guar Slave Pit singles. I have, a bunch of albums pre-remastered. Like I said, the Megadeth albums. I didn't like Rest in Peace. I mean, I liked it, but I thought, why are people saying it's so popular? It's okay. Then I heard the original. Oh, that's what power is.
Yeah. They kind of drowned some of the bass out and added some of his new vocal style to the fucking, or just fucking, no, that's not what it was. It wasn't totally, you throw balls to the wall, let's do this, and the mix was just subpar. And
I have the original Iron Maiden CDs before they were remastered, which is a bit more dynamic. Iron Maiden didn't totally rape the albums, but they definitely lost some dynamics. The first 3 Bathory albums sound horrible on CD. I mean, I didn't like the first Bathory album at first because I couldn't hear anything. I was like, why does everyone think it's a classic? It's just a wall of noise. When I heard it, I mean, I later, obviously it took a couple listens and I was like, okay, I can hear it. When I heard it on vinyl, a vinyl rip, I was like, if I had heard this, it would have been Love at First Sight because it was so much. It was still raw as hell, but it was so much clearer. It wasn't muddy or anything.
yeah.
So there are good things to the internet. You can get rare things and better rips, but you should buy the new shit if you like it.
Yeah.
But you don't need to buy the Megadeth remasters.
Well, you see, what you could do is buy the Megadeth remasters, pitch those discs, then fucking get, blank discs to burn the original copies onto, and like copy paste the fucking, cover onto it, and then put that inside the disc holder.
Yes, you could do that. One of the things that I'm still amazed exists are, and I get because I also get, I don't just I get promos, promo albums, which I can't share because, some like guys will kill me or something. Yeah, I get promo because I review some stuff and best of compilations. Okay, we aren't even we're why are you paying $15 for a best of not a rarities compilation, not a discography, a compilation of previously released well-known songs, okay, in the age of Spotify playlist. I mean, I hate Spotify, but whatever.
I got MP3s. I want a best of. I just mix up and throw it out there, and there it is. Blah, my best stuff.
I can see making like a playlist for like new fans, but paying $10 to $15 for that's just, I don't know, it's weird. And yeah, I've done that. I've made like playlists for friends. I keep on meaning to make some YouTube playlists for you, but I've just been So yeah, best of compilations still exist. Weird. The newest ones, I mean, Crowbar setlist classics. Go out and buy a Crowbar album. The best of Napalm Death. Introducing Dark Throne. Go out and buy an album.
It's pee-pee in the butthole.
Pee-pee in the butthole. Oh my god, that reminds me of... Have you ever seen a band live that maybe you didn't like in studio, but live they put on a decent performance?
Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, that's not something that I've actually seen live, but like, when I first heard Ailstorm, I was like, okay, this is okay. It's kind of dragging, boring. But then you hear it live off of their one live CD that they had, and I was like, oh, this actually is pretty cool.
I've seen Slipknot. You know my opinion on Slipknot. I'll be honest, they put on a pretty energetic live show. The music sucked, but you could tell they were feeling the energy. NoFX. Okay, NoFX is worth seeing live just because the banter's hilarious. But then bands that I don't really like that didn't put on a live show were Killswitch Engage, who asked to find a girl so they can, and I quote, pee in her butthole. I'm not censoring it. That's what he said. He said, I want to pee in her butthole.
I don't know why the hell I even said that, because that was just a throwback to whenever I was a kid and the Pee Wee Herman movies were out, and they're like doing the Pee Wee Herman shit, needed that dance. And the only thing I could think of, even as a kid, watching that dance was you put the pee-pee in the butthole.
Yes.
I didn't even know everything I was saying because, I didn't comprehend everything that was going on in my dad's porn collection at the time. But, yeah. Even though I had stolen so much of my dad's porn collection at that time that, you'd think I would, but no.
Did you do it? I mean, because you were a kid, did you do it just for curiosity? Like, well, why are they doing that? I don't understand.
I mean, back whenever I was like 5, 6, it was curiosity. Like, this is an interesting look at, and I kind of like the women and stuff and blah, 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 but, it wasn't like, yank it material because I didn't have the hormones, didn't hit puberty yet.
Yeah.
It was just this morbid curiosity, and, it looked like fun and shit like that. And then, like, as I hit puberty, it's like I started to understand more of it. I didn't understand why people were shitting on each other yet, So I didn't really steal those ones. And the spanking I didn't really get at the time. Because,
I mean,
why would someone want spanked? But then I started to figure out why as
yes.
years went on. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay.
I mean, the first time I really, because obviously I'm blind, so I more like read. And most porn stories are terrible. Most of the time, I read it just for the comedy value, because they would start off all like, some of them would actually have like artistic pretension, and they would start off with being an actual story, and then it would have the word clit or cunt or dick, just, oh, this is. So the first time I really read, I mean, I mostly read it just for the laughs, just for, because I thought it
There was a
was.
line that my buddy John always references. It was from a porn named The Anus Family, which might have been renamed Not the Addams Family or something along those lines. But Uncle Fester was getting a blowjob from Grandma, and he's like, "Oh, Grandma, you give a pretty mean head."
I would just kill everything if I.
I'm just contemplating as he's got a fucking light bulb in his mouth, and he's like, "Oh, Grandma, you have a pretty mean head, yeah." It's like, okay. And thing
And
was
then,
good for feeling up Morticia and shit. That was
and then
fun.
yes, and then later, as my own fetishes or whatever you want to call it developed, I understood. I don't know if this is the same in movies, but porn stories, once you're done doing what you're doing, they lose all interest. Like, it's fine, and then you find that you're actually reading a piece of shit. Like,
Yeah.
is that the same with movies? Is it like, oh, this is really interesting, and then after you're done, it's like, well, okay, whatever.
I mean, a lot of it's just like, let's hurry up, get to the fucking and all that, or, the role play that you want, or all that. And there's so much built into the fucking get up and then, the go, that whenever it's finally like, okay, let's wrap this up, that the wrap up's always kind of weak.
And I mean, because there's some that aren't. I mean, there's some that are
It's
actually.
like, oh, Daddy, we shouldn't be doing this to, okay, Daddy, I'm going to be dripping shit while I go to the mall. By the way, give me my $200.
Yeah.
I don't want to be giving you $200. I'm going to just fuck you again then. Fuck that. That's not worth $200.
But there are some that are actually very well written. I mean, Lovecraftian shit. Yeah, I read weird shit. Whatever. So there are some that are really well written, and then others, like I said, once the interest is gone, it's gone. It's just, why am I reading this? This is stupid. This is so badly written.
I
And
mean, I remember back in the day, I think it was, what the hell was it? It was called Masseuse, I think. And like this chick was, part of a massage parlor. It was a porn, and they did this really art house thing as the story, about this masseuse's descent into, madness, because, being a masseuse was just shorthand for prostitute. And at the end, she's sitting there talking to this guy, getting him ready to stroke off, and then she blew off her head. And I thought that was an actual decent ending to the whole damn thing. I was like, yeah, you're too weak for this. Then they had to go on to the funeral. It's like, oh, God, I don't want to fucking see you guys mourn this shit. She was a pretentious fuck the whole time. She deserved the suicide.
Sorry, that made me laugh. Just, oh yeah, babe. Oops. So yeah, and like I said, I mean, you can find. I think you can get away with more in porn, the written word, than you can visual. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, duh, because, you're not limited by things like budget and, what humans can actually do. I mean, I'll tell you right now that, like, some of that hentai out there actually gets pretty damn good, too. But, you know, you in a cartoon, you can fucking do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. Wait, why are you fucking the bug?
Like, shut up, my one girlfriend's into that.
Yeah, well, I know.
I mean, literally, like she's sitting there throwing hints what she wants for her Christmas present. So I got her one of the things she really wanted, and it was like this manga, which was literally these fairy chicks fucking bugs.
If it's who I think you're talking about, I've sent her some bug porn.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not judging. Fuck, I'm just that was a thought though. The first time I saw, like, why is she fucking? Oh, the bugs controlling. Okay, and now she's breeding. Okay, cool.
Breeding and hatching eggs, and you know, I got really into the fucking tentacle shit.
Yeah.
Just watching, you know, chicks actually have eggs shoved in them, and then they lay the eggs. For some reason, you know, I thought that was kind of hot.
I think it needs mind control, personally.
And then you got tentacles that just shoot whatever fucking secretions they do.
Oh yeah, no, there's that. There's tentacle. There's bugs. There's spider porn.
Yeah, all kinds of fucked up shit, which is great.
Which you probably can't find on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of. I mean, I don't always read it for the, you know.
I mean, I remember back in the day, you know, whenever I was still stealing porn off my dad and shit, he had these ones which were just letters, and whenever I was a kid, I was all into the fucking pictures. I never actually sat there and read these letters.
Uh-huh.
So, like, when I got older and I'm throwing these attic parties and shit, I'm, like, going through his porn collection just because I gotta move it out of the way. Otherwise, I might have a sticky floor because knowing these pricks I'm partying with.
Yeah.
You know, and I came across one called the Pennsylvania Family Connection. I'm like, what the fuck?
Go.
But then I read some it was actually pretty decent, you know, even if a bit contrived. I was like, okay, this is kind of hot. Okay. And like you know, it was like the first time I ever yanked off and actually felt super guilty about it, but the guilt really drove the orgasm harder.
See, I did that for a while, and then I realized that it's just fake, and like I shouldn't feel guilty about. But sometimes I'll like, did I just really do that to?
That was disturbing. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
That was disturbing. Oh well, I think I'll. Yeah. So, no, I've seen some very strange.
I mean, I don't always go into like the really fucked up warped shit I do, you know, sometimes. Because, you know, I take nice long breaks from watching porn, you know.
Yeah.
I have a nice vivid imagination coupled with so many memories.
Have you ever watched something, or you know, maybe it was like really fucked up, and rather than getting anything like thrill out of it, all you're left with is questions? Like, I'll give you an example, and this I looked this up for pure, just because I thought it was hilarious, which is a woman brainwashes siblings to mate and breed. And I'm just thinking, do you know what you're doing to the fucking population?
Well, probably, but at the same token, now hear me out, it's completely wrong, morally objectionable, and therefore hot. I mean, you sit there and you look at porn throughout the ages. Whatever was the limit of the social taboos, where it crossed into the taboo and they started playing with what was the taboo, that's what the hot porn in the age was.
Yeah.
You know, you show a little ankle, oh my god, you know that people would yank off to that because that was taboo, a woman showing that much flesh, you know.
Yes.
Just the ankle. And then, like, you know, you move on, it's like, you know, some woman in a low-cut shirt and, like, you know, wearing a skirt that went up to just below her knees, and that's what people are yanking it to, because that's taboo. Nowadays, I mean, fuck, it's hard to find anything taboo without getting in a complete, you know, you're destroying society kind of shit.
I just said that. I mean that it's okay, yeah, it was kind of, but I was at the same time I was just thinking you're gonna destroy the population
I mean,
because you're gonna
that's
have a
one
bunch
of
of
the
fucking.
fucked up things. 'Cause you see, I find myself arguing more along the traditional side of things when it comes to things like that. Not because I want to ban these things. No, I want them to be shunned so they're hot again. If you get some of these more vanilla acts out there being hot, then you'll have the people willing to breed a lot more because, dear God, the effort you got to put into it with everything just hanging out there constantly.
Oh yeah,
I don't want things banned. I want them shunned. There's a difference.
yeah. I mean, and that's why, yeah, and that's yeah. I mean, even some of the comments on that story were like, "Wait, this is weird even by my standards."
Mm-hmm.
And I was, like I said, I was just like, ugh, breed. But and yes, I have to. Well, and that's why there are a lot of like. Now, I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to get killed. But you know how many like feminists write porn about women being controlled
Mm-hmm.
because
I mean,
it's taboo in their
fucking
lives?
yeah. And like even the more minor, domination submission shit, that they like that. But like, that's so taboo because a woman's got to be. And the thing is, that plays off of something that's like, whenever you're so much in control of your own life normally, you're the fucking CEO of a corporation, you tend to be a lot more submissive in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Because you
Whereas,
just want to be released from all this pressure you have and let someone else tell you what to do for once.
and by the way, can I just point out that yes, I've seen everything from mild thing to now she thinks that women only are exist to fucking breed and serve, and she's a radical fucking feminist who writes articles about the maleocracy. But
Mm-hmm.
her secret life is
Yeah.
her, her secret life. Um, but yeah, no. Whereas people like me who don't have any damn control, um, and I've talked to a couple. I've talked to a dominatrix before, a professional one. Not she didn't do sex, but she did like everything and whatever anyone wanted except for sex. Like there was a guy who fucking cleaned her house for her, and she was okay, fine. But and it's mostly rich guys, mostly rich, powerful guys who
You see,
pay
oh
for her.
God, I'm just sitting here thinking about this shit, okay? And people are coming up with all these fucking wild. There's a phenomenon on the internet called simping.
Yeah,
And pretty much, all that is like, some chick there goes on cam, bullshits, and, plays up being the girlfriend. No sexual things, no nothing like that. And,
yeah,
like, people pay her money, because, oh my God, it's a chick that's talking to me. And it's like, they're going off on it's just like, dude, you don't realize that financial domination is a thing. I mean, this is like, the completely weak sauce version of it.
yeah,
It's like, going from, looking at lesbian porn where, like, they're about to lick the clit, but, the picture stops just beforehand, to give the illusion this is what's going to happen, but it's not flipping open the lips or
yeah.
anything. To, compared to, like, full born, we're going to use 18 million toys, lesbian porn.
Yes.
That it's that weak sauce. They're still kind of scantily clad, but like not fully. And that's what the simping is. This is like the financial domination part. Where the guys really want this, and yeah, some guys are fucking complete morons thinking they're going to get a date out of it. But like they still want that financial domination. They can't afford the full.
Yep.
Okay, you're going to spend everything I want on what I want when I want. And I don't care if you fucking go bankrupt. People yank off to this.
Which has never been my thing. My thing is
I don't understand how it all works. I just know it's there. Well, I understand the mechanics thereof, but it's something I could never get off on because it's like,
No, no,
you know,
I mean, my whole thing is, well, I'm broke, so you're fucked.
whenever you're stuck living paycheck to paycheck for as long as I have, it's like, yeah, I don't ever see that becoming a thing with me where I want someone to tell me what to spend money on.
Yeah.
But if you're some rich bastard that could afford everything and no one to spend it on, here you go. That fills that urge so you can yank it, saying I'm blowing money and I feel so cheap.
Yeah. So yeah, I've heard some pretty disgusting stories with dominatrix and shit, and
That's pretty much all the simping thing is. It's like this financial domination need, but played more mild, It's not the bitch completely saying, I need a new pair of shoes now. It's like, just feed me money and I might talk to you
yeah,
more.
it's. And I don't understand that either. I can talk to a girl anytime I want. I mean, granted, they run screaming as soon as they see my face.
Oh, I
Still.
was seeing ads for this shit. It's like, would you like a girl to play video games with? Pay me money. It's like, yeah, but I know plenty of how I got in the fucking Fallout in the first place was I went up to my girlfriend's house and she was playing it all the time while I was there for a while, and I eventually said, fine, feed me the controller. This is starting to look interesting. It was New Vegas, and I was like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. I just fucked up his life, destroyed that town, and I did something heroic here.
See, Jim, if I had the money, I would jokingly take her up on that, and then play New Vegas and go be as evil as possible and just, what are you doing?
Like we went up the Cazador route towards New Vegas just so that we could get enough experience to unlock the perk that we needed to complete the game.
Yes.
Cannibalism.
Cannibalism.
And then that sound will forever be etched in your vein.
So that's yeah. I know there's girls who pay to play video games and things like that. I mean, there are things where
there's a lot of people that do their own gaming channels, and you watch them game, and half the time you're paying more for the personality. The other half the time, this is a person that knows their shit about 5-6 games, and they will talk about every glitch, every exploit, every fucking
I watch
shortcut to everything.
If people know about racing games, I'll watch them. Maybe not like a whole 3-hour stream, but I'll watch a little bit. If they know about racing and they know, But I generally those personalities that are welcome to the gaming channel, the yelling and screaming type.
You see, I watch people, play the game, and sometimes I like the personality, and I'll watch it. But most of the ones I watch, like Rome Mythroll and H.C. Bailey, they actually start discussing mechanics and shit, and they also go into more of the lore. Like I know, they both like actually naming all the enemies. Even if they're like things you wouldn't normally know, they like to tell you what the enemies are, what their weaknesses are, how to kill them or avoid.
For me, it's if you're doing a racing game and there's real drivers, as opposed to say like Gran Turismo. If you're doing like a NASCAR game or an IndyCar game, and there's real drivers, and you call them by the real driver names rather than, looks like the 12 cars in third. David Land did a game thing on Saturday. He did a 500-mile Indy 500. And he actually knew all the drivers' names. So rather than just say, it looks like Mario Andretti's behind me, and Gordon Johncock just wrecked, and Bobby Unser's now 2 laps down. And it was like, wow, and then obviously David knows his shit. He's pretty well known YouTube. Even if I disagree with most of what he says, it was just nice to hear someone, recognize who the drivers were as opposed to, it looks like that guy's crashed. Well, who's that guy? Okay. If it's like a Gran Turismo type game and they're not real drivers, but if it's like IndyCar racing, tell me who it is. Did Scott Goodyear crash? What happened?
For a while there, I was like a complete addict of the Coddy. And this guy and that was mostly for his Hitman speed runs, especially the Blood Money ones. But the other ones he did were pretty interesting too. But what he would do on Blood Money was like, oops, like he knew the mechanics so well that like, and he would just improv something. Think, oops, that happened. Well, now time to improvise.
Yes, I always like improv. I don't really think I've seen Bishop, Bishop Rock play some games. Obviously, that's where Jesus Fuck came from.
Yeah.
He was a cow, and then he was a kid who lived on Vagina Island. I'm going to use Vagina Island in every mention of Jesus Fuck from now on.
Vagina Island. It's
But
funny,
so
Jesus fucks, many psychotic delusions. They had a bullet in their head.
666 Cockshot Lane on what was it? Vagina Island, Hot Sauce Land. I don't.
Yes, put hot sauce into your urethra.
So anyway, so I've seen, but I haven't really watched. I mean, like I've watched like the little tiny, like the little 6-minute little videos of old games I used to have or whatever. I was actually searching for a bunch of old games I used, racing games mostly. In fact, all racing games. But I did watch that 6-hour playthrough of Blood though. God, I wish I could see. It's one of those things where I wish I could see, because just the sound effects were just so much evil. But yeah, but I hate when gamers try to moralize shit. When when they play like Fallout and they try to moralize. I just do what I do. I mean, yeah, there was that one time where you'll see later when we uploaded in Fallout 3, where I was like, wow, that's fucked up even for us.
Oh, we did shit that was so far beyond. Oh God.
Yeah, but even then, we went through it. We didn't go, we can't do this because it's so. We were like, I'm disgusted with myself. Okay.
I mean, hell, the first time I enslaved Bumble was with you. And that was like, oh my God, that they, out of all the fucking kids they had in this game that didn't seem like kids at all, that one actually seemed like a kid, and I actually felt guilty.
I'm going on an adventure. Oh God, no, stop.
Now that we've seen it once, we're going to be immune, but like that was the only kid in the entire game that I actually felt guilty about any ill fate about. The other kid you could enslave, the one that initiated the quest, I didn't care about him. He was too damn annoying and didn't seem like a kid.
Yeah, well, I guess I get it. They were on their own and they kind of had to grow up fast. But still, the one that you could enslave was the most kid-like. And I was literally like, oh no, what are we doing? And then I started laughing.
Yeah, eventually you start laughing. It's like, oh God, that was so evil.
It's funny how I find I Lit Your Baby on Fire to be screamingly funny, but I found that to be like a bit much.
Yeah. But now that we've seen it once, we're going to be immune and it's going to become a quick joke. Of course, we have to do our slaver duty.
Do our slaver. But yet, anything involving a baby, I just start laughing.
I wish I had that fucking Eat Baby mod for the end of, what was it? Fuck. I was just talking about it, too, and I can't remember the damn name of it.
The Pit.
Yeah, the Pit. The end of the Pit. That would have been great to just eat the baby, then have everyone pissed off at me and be like, what?
we did something wrong, huh?
But baby, it's like veal, only human.
I lit your baby on fire. It was louder for 30 seconds and then it shut up. The first time I read that, I had to stop what I was doing for about 5 minutes just because I was laughing so hard. Just, oh no. So.
Yeah. Are these actions we would do in real life? No, but it's funny because it's so abhorrent.
but see, that's the thing. I mean, I always say we have no standards. I have standards and I have things that it's just I couldn't tell you what they were. until I find what they are. I don't have clear cut.
I
I
mean,
won't.
okay, we're both so much into freedom that slavery is something we both find abhorrent. But, like, that's what makes doing that in video games a fucking hilarious joke to us. Is the fact
Yes.
that this is so far out of character. It's like, oh god, I can't believe I'm doing this, but let's do it anyway.
I mean, and
Except for Arkansas, who deserved it.
oh yeah, because he's just a senile. But the thing is like, as far as like real life, yeah, okay, I probably wouldn't actually start mowing down people with mini nukes. Well, okay,
I
maybe.
mean, there's a lot of moments where I get enraged. I just want to fucking slaughter some people that I remember. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I get that every day. But
But that's why I always find it, like whenever some people say, "Well, I never wanted to kill anyone," bullshit. Everyone's wanted to kill someone. Usually multiple someones, but it's what you do with that,
my own question
momentary
is,
rage because you realize you're making a permanent solution for a temporary problem.
yeah, Varg. Yeah, I think Varg realized that one. But my question is, would you actually go through with it? That's. I mean, I don't know if I'd actually go through with it, or
I mean, my main concern is I might actually like it, and I don't want that because that would mean even if I were able to do the first time completely flawless,
yeah,
if I liked it, I'd eventually get so sloppy that like I'd be anally raped in prison.
Whereas I'm blind and I'm just wait. I thought I got caught, dude. You walked into a police station.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I thought it was a McDonald's. Where's my damn chicken nuggets? People, how horrible you. Some people think I'm prejudiced against blind people because I make those jokes, and because I never really hung out with blind people. All my life I've hung out with sighted people. That's just, I mean, yeah, okay, I'll hang out with blind people. I'll hang out with whatever. But I've never really been treated as. I mean, I've never really been treated as the blind person. I've always just, oh yeah, he's Elliot and he happens to be blind, rather than, yeah, we call ourselves the blind kid. I do kind of resent that, but whatever.
I always call you the blind kid, but I've known you like for a few years now, so fuck it.
Well, just because I don't want to be like novelty, square dancing.
It's not a fucking novelty. It's just yeah, he's blind, so I gotta go through
extra
effort when I do things and not be as lazy as I usually am.
I know, but you know how touchy I am about that. Square dancing monkey, fucking Jim that can talk. So it's yeah, I've always been, the kid who just happens to be blind, and yeah, people play pranks on me, but they also help me with shit, walk around and.
I mean, fuck, I sent in our chat. I send this bastard like pictures every now and then. He's like, "What's this?" And I just tell everyone, "Shh." But meanwhile, who's sitting there describing, like, what things are in video games while I play it?
Or random album covers, or... No, the best...
I have sat there and read aloud shit that I just skim past in video games, simply because I wanted you to have the full context.
Yeah. No, the best part is when you post something on my Facebook, and you're like, don't tell them what it is, anyone.
Yeah.
And most of the time people, and yeah, they have played pranks, Johnny Puke, would make me feel up one of my female friends. Of course, she knew what I was doing. It wasn't like, they had a good laugh about it. It wasn't like I was, assaulting anyone. Yeah. She knew immediately that was what was going to happen, and she, was fine with it. It was.
I don't know. That's a joke on the blind kid. Come on. Oh shit! No, slap.
Which I was. Which, I mean, I was fine with that joke, by the way. Yeah, but nowadays you say that, and I don't know, did something. I don't know. No, nobody seemed to complain.
See, that
So
that
yeah,
shit's always been in society. It just varies who the hell's saying it. Like when I was growing up, it was the church moms and soccer moms. And now it's like, the fucking college educated you kids saying it. For the same damn reasons that the church moms and soccer moms did.
but they never knew. I mean, they knew not to go too far. Like, yeah, they would put something in my hand and say, "Drink it," but it would always be like a beer. It wouldn't be like battery acid, because I was somewhat likable. They knew that they didn't want to kill me just then. Now I don't know. Maybe they want to kill me. But back then, so yeah, we did this was fun, and I expect that to I expect more friends to do the same thing.
Because, just making a simple blind joke ain't cutting it, man. I've already
No, yeah.
expended all the basic ones. I have to get creative whenever I do it.
Or people would try to change their voices so I wouldn't know who they were or whatever. I was like, motherfucker, I can tell different voices.
Yeah, I still want to fucking lure you off a cliff with my voice. You fucker,
Well,
get over here, you bastard!
yeah,
I'm gonna
but
kill you.
but you know me well enough to say the exact opposite of where you want me to go. Because I'll do the exact opposite of what you tell me.
Exactly.
Come towards me. Oh, fuck that.
And then going the opposite way. Ah, see, I told you.
How am I still alive? Satan loves me. Ah.
That was only 10 feet.
Oh, good.
I wanted you to live. I just wanted you to realize I could do it. I know a much longer one, by the way.
Good. Now
With
fix
more
my
rocks, less grass to fall in.
now fix my broken legs. No. So yeah, it's I mean, I don't be people. Doesn't that hurt your feelings or whatever? No, I think a good joke like that is actually quite funny.
I mean, dude, when you're friends with someone, you fucking mock them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like this ass kissing, you only. And that's one thing I don't get. Like, I go online to these different places, and, like, you'll see these people saying, roast me. And my first response whenever I see threads saying roast me is, like, you don't have any friends? Because your friends are going to tear apart every fucking foul thing you've ever done and every idiotic thing you've ever done right in front of your face.
Here, put your hand here. It's either a tit or a fucking German Shepherd.
They're going to play jokes and fucking stupid shit like that. But then, there's also the fucking cool things they do for you, just, not even being asked to. I mean, granted, they'll do even more if you ask, but, that's what friends do, But then, whenever you're just feeling like hanging out, it's like, you're a fucking bastard.
Yeah, and it's funny because my yeah, they would do. I mean, but they always knew not to endanger me, which I was like, oh come on.
I think it was like one of the threads my family started replied to something I said, and like my family was replying to it, and then some guy thought he'd insult me, call me, "You're a fucking asshole," and everyone's like, "Yeah, we know he is." And the guy was like, "What? Wait, he doesn't find that to be insulting?" Dude, you just complimented him.
Well, Tristan, the communist guy, was like, "Oh, kill yourself." I was like, I haven't heard that before. Oh, wait, yeah, I have. Wait, you're not going to find it insulting? No. I just think it's funny that a liberal who hates cyberbullying is telling someone to kill himself, but hey.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I've grown to just say, I want to euthanize them in the most painful manner possible.
Yes.
Because, you sit there and think, wait, isn't euthanasia supposed to be about releasing them from the pain of this world peacefully? Well, yeah, but who says the journey has to be peaceful?
Yes. Oh yeah, no. Friends would play jokes all the time, and I always knew they were gonna come, and it's funny that when hangers on would come around, the horror. Oh my god, that poor blind kid. The blind kid's laughing because, like I said, he didn't know whether it was a tit or a German Shepherd, and it turned out to be a tit on a German.
Oh,
Yeah,
they were kind to fucking show you, German Shepherd about to feed its young.
yeah. Or here, take this. Oh, great, the dog's chew toy. I have 10 I have 5 seconds before the dog leaps on me. Gotta throw it.
Oh god, that reminds me that for some reason the dog got horny because of this one blanket that Bob had, and fucking so whenever we were just fucking around drinking and shit, we'd throw the blanket on Bob, and the dog started trying to fuck Bob.
Oh God, they never did that to me. But they throw the, and it was a big dog, so it would
Oh,
jump
this was a
on
big
him.
dog too, but it was just fucking hilarious. Like, oh my god, the dog's trying to fuck me. And he's too drunk to throw the blanket off, which just made it worse.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. That's terrible. I love it. As always,
Red Rocket, motherfucker, Red Rocket.
when I get drunk, I just get funnier. And then back when we used to play that vampire game, New Year's Day, I got really drunk, and I think I tried to take on like a rank 800 or whatever. Because, hey, what could possibly go wrong? Things like that. But
And you're disemboweled in a millisecond.
yes, no, I didn't even get a chance to. So yeah, they would do, or. But they also showed me, what things were shaped like, various weapons. Here, don't use this on anyone, but here's what this is shaped like. Ooh. Yes, they stopped short of, giving me weapons and getting me drunk and telling me to kill. They were responsible.
Kill.
They were responsible degenerates. And yet,
I wrote lyrics back to the day for a song called "Just Shut Up and Kill for Me."
And yet, they would be considered a bad influence on me. They probably stopped me from doing something really stupid. And it's funny. I went from the kid who they were telling me that I was going down a bad path, a dark path with bad influences, to the kid people were telling people not to go see because he's a bad influence. I love when that happened. Just the transition from we care to, oh my god, he's a monster.
Such a monster.
Such a monster. But yeah, they would be considered bad influences, even though they probably saved my sanity at least. And stop me from doing something really stupid.
Oh, it's like there's this one kid that we hung out with, Crazy Louie. I don't have the fucking bookmarks to those articles anymore, but anyways, he'd come out and party with us, and his mom bitched me out one day, threatening to get the cops involved if he ever came by. Now, the whole thing was we kept talking him out of doing the stuff that was in his head. The moment that he was banned from partying with us, soon after, he carjacked someone and just drove the car up another block and threw it in a ditch. And then later, he broke into a house which used to be an apartment which he used to live in ages before, and just sat there for whatever reason. And then the person that owned it then came home, and all he said was oh, wrong house. These were the things we were talking him out of doing, even though we were partying it up all the time.
Yeah.
And the thing that I had articles on was, okay, he had just gotten out of the mental institution, and his mother bought him a shotgun.
Which is what you do.
Yeah, you just graduated the loony bin. Here's a shotgun. And keep in mind that, Once you find out what he went in there for, he was arrested for the carjacking incident and the breaking and entering. And while he was sitting there in the holding cell awaiting trial, he set his mattress on fire. And that's whenever he was just shipped off to the loony bin. So he's done all this other shit, and you're expecting to give a guy that went in there for some, an act of arson, act of carjacking, and breaking and entering to not misuse the shotgun in his trailer park. And the best part was he went around and he fired it around, shot a few people with it from a distance where they were like hurt, maimed, but not dead.
Yeah.
And he went back inside. He was in a brilliant orange jumpsuit when he did this, He went inside his house, changed his clothes, and went up to the people he just shot and said, "Don't worry, I'll help you find the person that did this."
It was him.
And I love how, like, the media was like, he said it was like a video game. Trying to blame the video games. It's like, no, his mother bought him a shotgun for getting out of a mental institution for some very violent things. You don't do that. They're trying to obfuscate that, it was his mom that did it, not, because at the time everyone was trying to demonize video games. You had to jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah. Rather than, that's, I've heard that story several times. I think I've even told it. I always said it was your story, not mine, but,
And the funny thing was, he was watching this movie shortly beforehand, Kelly's Heroes, which they couldn't blast because it was an older fucking war movie that's supposed to make you feel all patriotic, which, from what I gather, it was pretty good. I vaguely recall it.
But,
it's like, you couldn't blame that because it was old school. And you couldn't blame the fucking mother because, you can't blame people. So let's blame the video games because it felt like a video game. And then,
yes.
Why would you buy your son a shotgun as a gift for getting out of a mental institution? Especially knowing that the entire reason you're buying it for him instead of letting him buy it himself because he's of legal age is because he's got that loony bin mark on his record now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he didn't
I could see maybe a couple years later if he had gone away for something like, being depressed or, family problems or something. But no, this was because he committed a crime and they sent him to the loony bin instead of prison, in lieu of prison, because he set his mattress on fire.
Yes.
That's obvious criminal, insanity there. Why?
But yeah, you're the bad guys.
Yeah, we're the bad guys because we talked him out of that shit.
Yeah,
this was shit you would talk about. It's like, yeah, that's a really cool rant, dude, but you don't want to do that. Why? Prison for what? Oh, right.
Just like all my friends who, no, you're not going to set anyone on fire. Why not? Because maybe you're right. Oh, well, give me some more beer.
Yeah, you might feel guilty afterwards. Oh, right. That's reality. Oh, I forgot reality was a thing.
Besides, you can't listen to any new metal if you're in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And you can forget about fucking conjugal visits. Yeah, they kind of exist, but they're rare. And,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be good.
Yeah, so, I like that poontang just a bit too much.
Yes, no pussy in prison. Besides, I really don't want to get raped by fucking guys.
Oh, well, I think we're running out of things to talk about, so let's call it here.
Alright, it's been fun. I hope you enjoyed it.
One second here while I do the thing. Which I forgot to do earlier.
Yep.
This has been the Swine Show episode. I don't give a fuck where I gotta take a piss right now. Elliot's been doing his goddamn music shit as always. And I've been a brain dead motherfucker since the day I was born. Should have been recording yesterday. But no, 6 minutes.
now back to the 800.